So after many months, Pit Night Early is finally released in Master Duel, and with that, TRI-BRIGADE Sprite has its final piece of its end board. So I figured right now would be a good time to just show off some TRI-BRIGADE Sprite combos involving Pit Night Early. And the first combo we're going to start with is just Sprite Starter. TRI-BRIGADE Sprite out of all the Sprite variants does the most with just a single starter. So to begin, you get special blue out with starter, and blue will add jet. Next you'll special summon jet, and here you can add either a starter so that you can summon a red or a carrot during your opponent's turn for a negate, or you can add smashers as your interruption. So in this case we'll add smashers for this combo. It's just the piece of your end board, it doesn't really affect the combo which you add. Then you link these two off into Sprite Sprint. Activate Sprint, dumping Nimble Angler. Angler will trigger, getting 2 Beavers out of the deck. Next overlay the Sprint and one of the Beavers into Gigantic. And activate Gigantic to summon out a TRI-BRIGADE Kitt from your deck. Next link off Kitt and Gigantic into Sprite Elf, triggering Kitt, which will dump the Nerval from the deck to grave. Then Nerval will activate. We'll add a Karas to your hand. This one doesn't quite matter in this combo, but we'll just add Karas because it's a level 2. Next, Sprite Elf, revive Kitt. Then activate Kitt's effect, banishing 2 Tri-Beasts from the grave. Or to summon out your Bearbrum into the center zone. Link off Kitt and Beaver into IP Masquerena. And you know, this entire time, we haven't normal summoned yet. So you can normal summon Kitt, or normal summon Karas. Activate Karas, banishing your 2 Tri-Beasts in grave. Summon out Double Dragon Lord. And finally, you link off Karas plus Bearbrum into Pit Night Early, which will trigger Bearbrum's effect to add Revolt from the deck to hand. And we can put a random card back. So off of just a starter, we have a Masquerena, Double Dragon Lord, Pit Night Early, which becomes a negate with Sprite Elf, a Sprite Smashers, and a TRI-BRIGADE Revolt. So that's 5 interruptions off of just the starter. And Sprite Elf can adds us follow up next turn, and Revolt adds us follow up on the next turn. So yeah, this is pretty insane. This is the highest ceiling you can get with just a starter out of just a starter and no other cards out of any Sprite variant. And so the careful thing is how you use your interruptions during your opponent's turn. So keep in mind, in order to revolt with this setup and be able to go into a Shureg to banish a card, you need 4 open zones because you didn't summon the Bearbrum properly, so you can't bring this off of Revolt. So you need to summon 4 individual Tri-Beast monsters in order to go into the Shureg. So how do you clear that zone? Well, let's say your opponent does something. Come on. Okay, so your opponent does something, right? You can sack off your Ancient Warrior's Oath or Double Dragon Lord to get one zone free. Or you could activate Elf, for example. Target a Sprite monster to get follow-up for next turn, which will trigger Kitt Knight early, which you can negate one of your opponent's monster's effects. So let's get our search. And next you can actually use Mask Arena. After you've expended your early and your Sprite Elf, you can go into a 4 material Appaloosa. So now you have a 4 negate Appaloosa on the field. And now your Tri-Brigade Revolt zones are free. So now you can flip Revolt and get back four Tri-Beast monsters. This will allow you to go into Shureg. And now you know to deal with Shureg. Banishes a card, and you get the follow-up with Nerval and Kitt. Okay, cool. Thanks AI. And now you're Double Dragon Lord. Now that you have a Shureg on the field, you can use your Double Dragon Lord to pop the Shureg, send the Shureg to the grave to bounce a card. And Shureg is sent to the grave, you can trigger its effect because you still have a 1 banished Tri-Beast monster. You can use it to add a DD Crow to your hand as another interruption. So if you sequence that in a way where you could go, where you can use Elf, bring back a card for follow-up, negate with Kitt Knight early, Appaloosa, IP Mask Arena into Appaloosa, free your zones for Revolt. Revolt makes Shureg, and then sack the Shureg off for another bounce, and then you get a hand trap search at the end of that. So that your interruptions are very layered, and you can use them in a bunch of different orders. And that's the fun part about this deck, is it's not just everything is on the field at once. You can really like pick and choose when to use what interruptions. And oh, by the way, you don't have to open specifically starter to the combo either. In fact, you don't have to open any in-engine monsters at all, because pretty much any combination of 2 monsters can get you at least basic combo with decent board. So it could be something as simple just as normal summon Nimble Beaver, or it could be something like special summon Cashier or Fenrir, and normal summon something like a Maxi, or normal summon Chaos, because it's basically just a Maxi at this point. Here you can still go into Sprint with your random 2 monsters, and then dump the Angler and get 2 Beavers. Overlay a Beaver and Sprint into the Gigantic. Then activate Gigantic. Summon Kitt from deck. Now this is where it differs a little bit. Because we expend our normal summon, we're gonna have to link off into. So we're gonna link off into IP Mask Arena first. Doesn't matter which 2 in this combo. The reason we're doing this is because when we link off into Sprite Elf, we're gonna trigger Kitt to dump Nerval and Nimble will add Chaos to hand. Now that IP Masquerade is in the grave, Sprite Elf, so the effect is, if your opponent controls a monster, you can target one rank or link 2 monster and special summon it. So as soon as our opponent controls a monster on their field, we can actually just revive the IP Masquerade and use it on their turn still, even though we just linked it off. But it's important that we linked it off so that's in the grave so we can do that. Anyways, you activate Sprite Elf now to revive Kitt. Activate Kitt, banishing 2 to go into Farrajeet this time. Because we expended a normal summon, we have to use Farrajeet's effect to special summon the Chaos from hand. Next you link off Farrajeet and Kitt into Bearbrum. And then you get the cycle card Farrajeet. Next, activate Karas, banishing 2, and we get our double Dragon Lord. Finally, link off Bearbrum and Karas into early, and this will let us search Revolt. So even with essentially 2 random monsters, this effectively just Cashier, Fenrir plus a Maxi, you still end on the 4 interruptions. Since as soon as our opponent controls a monster, we can bring back the IP and use it like that. And with this line, because we properly link summoned Bearbrum, you can actually just you actually only need 3 slots to go into Shurag. So we can summon back Bearbrum and make sure you get a Nerval or a Kitt in there. And you already have a Shurag without needing to compromise your zones at all in this combo. Come on, AI. Stop thinking. Okay, and as soon as our opponent controls a monster, Sprite Elf can bring back the IP Masquerade, and you can use early as well. And now we can use the IP to go into an 3-mat Appaloosa. So yeah, there you have it. So to add on to that last combo, let's go over some 2-card combos with actual in-engine cards. For example, now let's show TRI-BRIGADE Kitt plus Sprite Blue. This could also be starter, or it could also be Sprite Jet as well. Though Sprite Jet, that just you change one thing in the end board. I'll note that later. So normal summon Kitt, special Sprite Blue, activate Blue to get Jet, special Jet to get either starter or smashers as your interruption. Link off into Sprint, the Jet and the Blue. Sprint effect, dump Angler, get 2 Nimble Beavers. Make sure you leave the zone under the monster zone under the right EMZ open for this combo. That's important for this specific combo. So overlay Gigantic with Beaver and Sprint. Activate Gigantic Sprite. And now, since we already have Kitt, because we hard opened it, you could just get a red or a carrot out of your deck immediately. So let's just get a carrot out and put it in this zone, because this zone is the safe zone where it won't interfere with the rest of our turn's link plays, as long as it's in the zone right under the right EMZ. So next we're going to do that Masquerena thing, where you go link 2 off into Masquerena, then link off the Masquerena for Elf, and activate Kitt, dumping Nerval, activate Nerval to add Karas to hand. Now Sprite Elf, revive the Kitt. Kitt will banish 2. Go into the Fairjeet again. This should be looking familiar now. Fairjeet can summon the Karas that we just searched. Link off into Bearbrum, the Kitt, and the Fairjeet. And you get the Cycle card. Alright. And finally, activate Karas to get the double Dragon Lord out now. And now we can link off into Pit Knight early with Karas and Bearbrum. And this will search us Revolt. So this combo, we did the IP Masquerena thing, where now when your opponent summons a monster, you can special summon back the IP Masquerena with Sprite Elf. We have the early and we have the Dragon Lord still, except now we have an extra Sprite carrot on the field as a negate. And we searched Smashers and Revolt as well. If you open with Jet instead of blue, you would just you would add starter and starter for blue, and then at the end of your turn, before you link off into Pit Knight early, you would just summon the extra Sprite red that you added off Sprite blue, and that you would have that instead of the Smashers. So yeah, that's TRI-BRIGADE Kitt plus blue, starter, or Jet. Alright, so this next combo is pretty much as high roll as you can get for a Sprite deck. It's Nimble Beaver plus either a Sprite blue or a starter. So you're gonna normal summon Nimble Beaver and get out a Nimble Angler. Then special the blue, which will get you a Jet. And you can special the Jet, and then add your interruption of choice, either a starter or a Smashers. So link 2 of these off into Sprint. Sprint will dump Angler and get the last 2 Beavers out of your deck. Make sure you summon 1 Beaver to this zone below the right EMZ again. So overlay 1 of these and sprint into a Gigantic. and activate Gigantic to special summon Kitt from the deck. Now link off everything but the Nimble Beaver right here. So link 2 of these off into a Sprite Elf, and link the 2 remaining into an IP Masquerena on the rightmost zone. Then trigger Kitt to send Nerval to add Karas. Next, Sprite Elf will revive the Kitt, and Kitt will banish 2 from the grave to special summon Beaver in this line. Now, link the Nimble Beaver that you kept on the field with the Kitt to go into a Fraktall. This way, this Fraktall can now special summon the Karas that you just added from your hand, and special it into the zone right here. This lets you trigger Fraktall for 2, or Fraktall, trigger your Karas for 2 to get your double Dragon Lord. Next, you can link into Pit Knight early with the Karas and the Beaver, and then this will add you a Revolt. Now you have Revolt, Smashers, or a starter, double Dragon Lord, Pit Knight early, Masquerena, and you have an extra Fraktall on the field. So this just lets you get an extra material on an extra negate on your Appaloosa. So on your opponent's turn, you revive Sprite Elf, and then you get linked into a 4 material Appaloosa, and then your zones are free because you made this Fraktall properly, so you only need 3 zones to be able to summon Usher Egg on your opponent. So yeah, this is the highest roll combo of the deck, but as you can see, all the combos end on at least 4 negates, and usually more. And this is just literally 1 extra interruption on your Appaloosa, which is like what your 7th or 8th interruption out of your entire board. So yeah. So I guess this is a combo I should show, although not everyone even builds their deck to be able to facilitate this combo, which is basically just Fraktall and nothing else. It's the weakest combo you can have that still ends on a decent board, and it's very rare because obviously it only applies when the only starter you have is basically Fraktall. When you don't open any sprites, like you don't open stuff like Fender, or you don't open Foolish as well to get your Nimble Anglers. So to do just the 1 card Fraktall combo, you dump Fraktall, send Kitt, activate Kitt to send Nerval. Then Nerval will add you either a Karas or a Fraktall. And whatever you add, you're gonna normal summon it, and you're gonna banish 1 to go into Scareclaw Lightheart. Now, not everyone that plays TRI-BRIGADE SPRIGHT even runs this card, because this combo is by far the combo that comes up the least often. So some don't even run this because they'll just take the off chance that like they'll be missing this 1 line. But if you do, this is good to know in case you want to run this, right? These 2, you're gonna link into Sprite Elf immediately. Then Elf is gonna bring back Kitt, and Kitt will banish 2. Let's banish Lightheart and Nerval to summon Fraktall. you're gonna link Fergie and the Kitt into Beaver, and then you can cycle a card with Fergie, maybe you draw into an extender or anything. And here's part of the reason why this is a weaker combo, since you have to use Beaver's effect to discard 2 cards. So you're losing hand size, and then you summon back either Nerval or Fraktall. Then Fraktall, you can banish 2. Banish Karas and Fergie into double Dragon Lords. Then you can link Bearbrum and Fraktall into Pit Knight early. And this will get you your Revolt. So you see this still ends on 1 card Fraktall. If you run the Lightheart, still ends on Elf, Pit Knight, DD, the Double Dragon Lord, Revolt. But you only end up with 1 card in hand, so you have to discard 2 over the course of your turn. So, and imagine if you have to use like an Ash or a Called By as a non-engine stop your opponent, right? You would have 0 cards in hand. And you don't have the IP Masquerena, so it's still a fairly decent combo, you know, for instead of bricking, you do end on 3 interruptions and follow up, which is still nice, but a lot of people don't choose to even run the Lightheart to facilitate this combo, so that's a choice you have to make when building this deck. So this is basically what a sample deck list of a TRI-SPRIGHT deck might look like. To go over everything, well, first of all, you obviously have to run the Maxi, the Ash, and we're maxing out on the as many Sprite cards as we can, all the simulated ones. A red, a carrot, triple Nimble Beaver, 2 Angler, triple Imperm as the next non-engine. For TRI-BRIGADE ratios, 2 Fraktall, 2 Karas, 2 Nerval, 3 Kitt. Kitt is the best one because it's a level 2 that you normal summon, and it's the thing that you want to summon off Gigantic. So if you hard open with it, then you can use Gigantic or something else, as you saw in parts of the combos. Karas is like an extender that you search during the middle of your combo. And Nerval is really, in this kind of build, it's not pure TRI-BRIGADE. Nerval is kind of bad to open because we're not running Almirage, so opening multiples of it with Kitt isn't too useful, and it's not a level 2, so it doesn't facilitate your Sprite plays when you draw into it. But you do need the 2 as like an engine requirement. 1 as the part of your initial combo and 1 as a follow-up. You notice with Fraktall, we're not even running Tanky. This may or may not be correct, but again, if you don't run Lightheart, like what I'm testing without Lightheart, so I can get the 2nd Gigantic Sprite since it comes up for follow-up. I don't necessarily want to run Tanky either, since Fraktall is not the 1 card starter you want to start with. Ideally, this is more of a, you want to start your plays with your Sprite engine and your Nimble engines first. So why Foolish Burial is nice, since you don't have to Foolish Burial for your TRI-BRIGADE monsters like Nerval or Kitt. You can Foolish Burial for Nimble Beaver, for Nimble Angler, which will summon Nimble Beavers from your deck. That helps you play through Disruption, that helps you, and that's also like a really nice starter to get you 2 monsters on board that are level 2s. And to go along with that, you probably want to run Cashier Fender in this build, since this is a build that heavily combos through Sprint, and like a lot of your combos you can start with Sprint. So Cashier Fender is not only a nice card and a nice interruption and good for board breaking, it's also a combo piece. So that's like a really nice use as a non-engine card. So unlike stuff like other hand traps, or unlike stuff like Triple Tactics Talons or Imperm, where you can't use them to actually combo, they're just insulation and like utility, but you can't like like you can't summon a triple tactics talents or summon an imperm and then use that to go into sprint. But you can definitely do that with Cashier Offender. So yeah, I'm trying to get the second one ASAP. And for the extra deck, oh yeah, the one Crow is because, as you saw in the combos, Crow is searchable off of Shurek. When you sack Shurek for your double Dragon Lord bounce, when the Shurek goes to the grave, you can search a Crow as another layered form of interruption, and you know, Tier Elements is still going to be a nice deck. I'm open to adjusting the ratios. You either running more non-engine to help this deck, you know, go second, because it only has 1, 2, 3, about 12 going second cards. Or you might be able to, or maybe if the consistency is not good enough, you might see Tanky's coming back, and that's all due to more testing. The extra deck is Downward Zeus package, Double Gigantic, IP, Double Dragon Lord, Verjeet, Bearbrum, Early, Sprint, Appaloosa, and Shurek. Those are all part of the combo. We only have room for the one Sprite Elf. Because again, I'm not even running the Scareclaw Lightheart. Because if we did, we would be cutting the second Gigantic Sprite as well. The extra deck is really tight in this build, in this variant of sprites. Again, Access Code and Rugal is a very nice quality of the TRI-BRIGADE engine, since any TRI-BRIGADE monster on the follow-up, you can just normal summon it, banish 3 to go into Rugal, and then you have a 5300 Access Code pocket right there that you just normal summon basically. That's it's a very strong follow-up and a very, you know, strong board breaker, and just puts damage on the board. You don't need to rely on stuff like Gamma Burst like other Pure Sprite and Melty Sprite builds due to OTK. So yeah, there you have it. Go ahead, try out this deck, Pin Knight earlies in the game.